All right, hey everybody, we're going to dive into this here for you. We're going to talk about the Ed Ashby, the natal study that a lot of people don't know about, and some do. But on top of that, you probably don't know that it still continues to this day. Okay, the Ashby Bowhunting Foundation, Dr. Ed Ashby, he shot over 1,000 big game animals, all with the most meticulously detailed information on studying broadheads, arrow combinations. His tests were unbelievable. They were done back, I believe, all in the 80s. They were absolutely incredible. You can see here just by Googling it. I mean, like I said, this information has been around forever. Yet you if you want to know the truth about arrows, because I just did a video about this, said how much should your arrow weigh, and I had a lot of compound guys chime in there and stuff that, oh, that's all BS and you don't know what you're talking about and blah 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 and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm here to show you that this information is here if you want it. Now, you don't have to use all of this, but let's look into it here for you. So those of you guys that want to know can know. You go to the ashbybowhunting.org. I'll put a link down below for you. But you go here, Foundation. You can make donations. You can check out everything. You got his reports are here. Speed calculator, spine calculator. He's got everything on here. The Ashby Reports. And then you also have the amazing supplemental reports, which are what are continuing to this day as well as we go on. So I pulled up a couple pages to show you. So here's the Ashby Reports page. Here's Dr. Ed here with a Asiatic water buffalo. But when you go into here, you can see all of the options he's in here, okay? And I opened some of these to show you. All of his reports. Okay, you've never seen something so detailed in your entire life. And I will show you some of that. But this has been going on since the 80s. Okay, with this understanding, with everything being about building the perfect arrow. Okay, the perfect weight arrow, the arrow with the most penetration, the strongest broadheads, everything. This guy has devoted his entire life to this. Okay, like I said, with over 1,000 animals he's shot himself personally, studying these things. It's unbelievable what this man has accomplished. And like I said, the legacy lives on today. Other people are running this show now also. It's amazing. So let's look at the basic one here too, the original one. There was a time back many, many years ago, I actually bought and paid for a printed out version of this to have it sent to me back before computers were even here. Okay, this is pretty amazing stuff, but let's take a look at some of just a broadhead. Okay, Broadhead Performance is what this article's about, and let's just take a look at some of the broadheads they tested. Now, he used in here, he says he used an 80-pound Martin Warthog compound for this on African animals, but 80-pound Martin Warthog compound, and he also used a 94-pound longbow. The average arrow mass used was 698.5 grains with an average velocity of 182 feet per second. Okay, so pretty impressive setup in here. And look at these broadheads. Just look at these pictures of the damage that these broadheads, that were some of the most popular broadheads at the time, took on. Okay, they just couldn't handle it, couldn't do it. Look at this stuff. I mean, this is just insane. And his articles are incredible. They are incredible information in here. And it is worth spending some time on here reading. I have read every single piece of this information. And then you also have here, like here's the actual 2019 Terminal Arrow Performance Update. Okay, these are the 12 factors that basically make up what you need to get the best thing you can get out of an arrow, to make, quote unquote, the best arrow you can have. Okay, structural integrity of the entire arrow system is the most important factor. It applies to every aspect of the arrow, from the broadhead tip to edge strength to the nock. Even a tiny tip bend, such as a slight tip curl, results in an average penetration loss of 14%. Structural integrity is a requirement for every hunting arrow, a must-have arrow design feature without which no other factor can be relied upon. You have to have it. It's number one. Number two, arrow flight. We've talked about this. I'm not going to read all these. Okay, but arrow flight is very, very important. You have that arrow going straight. Arrow's weight of forward to center plays a big factor in there. Okay, they talk about it here. The AMO standard formula shows in the prologue of the 2007 updates, EFOC, which is not what is or EFOC is extreme, okay, or ultra extreme. EFOC is extreme front of center weight, is designed as 19% to 30%. And then I believe ultra extreme is, study finds anything above 30%. Like I shoot 31.5% with mine. I like it. It works really good. That puts me in that ultra extreme forward to center category. Just barely, but I'm there. And then you got the mechanical advantage of the broadhead, ranks as number 4. Mechanical advantage refers to how steep the angle of the blades of the broadhead are, like an incline ramp. The longer the length of the ramp in relation to its rise, the less energy it takes to get it to the top of the incline. Okay, and that's what they're talking about when they talk about this is where the 3-to-1 ratio broadhead came from. It was from these Ashby studies that everybody started making 3-to-1 ratio heads. This stuff is vitally important, and it is, if you're gonna bow hunt, it's worth knowing this stuff and understanding, not to mention it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating to read this stuff. Shaft diameter. Smaller diameter, the better. Okay, skinnier you can get, the better. Arrow mass. Okay? Arrow mass is closely related to arrow weight, but it isn't exactly the same. When it comes to calculating either arrow force or arrow energy, mass is a correct term. However, unless doing these calculations, you can think of arrow mass as being arrow weight. Greater arrow mass increases bow efficiency. It absorbs more of the bow's stored energy when fired. That means more arrow force. Okay, when all else is equal, an arrow's tissue penetration is directly proportional to its momentum. That's because momentum, by definition, is a measure of a forward-moving arrow's impetus, the arrow's forward force, which must be met by an equal amount of resistance before the arrow stops in a forward movement. Don't confuse this with meaning two different arrows penetrate equally because they have equal momentum. Arrow design influences how efficiently an arrow's force is used. Same kind of stuff I was telling you in the video. Okay, I mean, this is, like I said, this is not new. We knew this since the 80s. Yeah, like I said, there's many people that refuse to believe it, and that's okay. Shoot whatever works for you and whatever you like. But for me, this stuff is very valuable. Okay, this is a bow hunter. This stuff is vitally important. I want to know this. Now, do I follow Ashby's rules to a T? No, I do not. Because there are things that I want out of my arrows that I know I'm giving up some of his things here to get what I want, but I understand he's building the perfect arrow here. Okay, it says right here, blade edge finish. Okay, a smooth, beveled, shaving, sharp, honed, dropped edge works best. Okay, these are all worth reading. Get into them. Open these up and dive into them. Shaft profile. Tapered shafts show 8% penetration advantage over parallel. A tapered shaft means that it's skinny up front, and then it gets a little fatter as it goes back. This is for wood arrows mostly. They don't taper, not too many people taper carbon or aluminum. But in a wood arrow world, you had parallel, which is the same diameter all the way down the whole shaft, or you had tapered, which is narrow up front and tapers to bigger as it gets to back, and then you had barrel taper, which is narrow up front, thicker in the middle, and then it tapers down again. Okay, so but shaft profile matters. The silhouette of the broadhead matters. The type of edge bevel. Type of edge bevel comes in at number 10, but on shots impacting bone, the type of edge bevel jumps well forward on the list of important factors when it encounters bone. Important immediately behind mass arrow weight. Above the heavy bone threshold, which is 650 grains, by the way, is the heavy bone threshold, means in his reports that 650 grains is the absolute minimum weight of an arrow to be able to pass through bone on a regular basis. Of any bow, even out of 45-pound bows, it's 650 is the threshold. And you'll learn this when you read it. According to Ashby studies, out of all the arrows they tested, out of 40-pound bows even, and then even into 80-pound bows, doesn't matter what it is, but the only arrow weight to consistently 100% pass through heavy bone was a 650 grain or above arrow. Anything below that was hit or miss. Okay, it's a mandatory number. It's legit, over thousands of animals. But it says right here, single bevel broadheads cause arrow rotation during penetration, applying torque to the bone as they pass through. With the massive amount of data now available from both test shots and hunted animals, it can be stated with absolute certainty single bevel broadheads consistently cause a higher frequency of mass bone splits, especially in long bones. Throughout the study, not a single large bone split has been observed with any double bevel broadhead. Number one reason I shoot a single bevel broadhead. Right there, that paragraph coming from this study. Okay, so you can see the value of this. Number 11, tip design. Okay, tips on the broadhead. Tip design's greatest importance is on shots impacting the bone. The Tano tip shows the best performance. Okay, the tonneau tip also demonstrates the lowest tendency to skid off bone on angular impacts. Arrow mass above the heavy bone threshold. Okay, arrow force derived from the bow. Other factors. Does it make enough difference to matter? Yes, it does. Up to 200% increases. Okay, anything from 90 to 200% penetration increase over other arrow designs. Okay, this is massive, and this information is here for you. Read this stuff. Okay, and then you get into the supplementals. Okay, this is the current brand new stuff. Supplemental reports on here, and you can look at all these where they're doing all this testing again. What kind of testing? Well, let's take a look at what kind of testing. Here we go. This is just a recent one in 2021 in South Africa. So here's the broadheads they were tested. Okay, we got a bunch of these. You got tough head, grizzly stick, bishop. If you guys don't know what bishop is, let me show you something about bishop. Okay, let me just give you a show. Now understand that bishop archery, okay, provides. Hang on, I'm typing. Bishop archery provides. Their whole basis is making the toughest arrows on the planet. Virgin carbon arrows, triple wrap, the whole deal, everything they do. But even their broadheads. We are talking about the toughest broadheads in the world. I have these. I made a video many years ago, or what, 4 years ago about the toughest arrow in the world. I just showed you my broadhead ones, the Bishop 600 grain broadhead that he had in here. These are it right here. Okay, these are, I mean, this is his stuff that he's making. Here's that 600 right here that he's showing you right there that I just showed you. I mean, Sean has got more of the most amazing stuff than you could ever understand. And he's got so many studies on it as well, too. So much information. And he builds some of the most amazing things you could imagine. Look at here. Okay, 12 virgin goat steel-footed, 0 spine arrow shafts, 12 pink tusk, fusion rods, a fusion rod wrench, removal tool, cold carbon, 72 epoxy. This is basically to build a dozen shafts. Look at the cost of this. Okay, who buys these? People that go hunt Africa. Why do they buy these to go hunt Africa? Because they understand and read all of the Ashby studies, and they're tired of, they don't want to go out there and spend $50,000 on a hunt and have this crap go wrong. Okay, so like I said, there's a whole world of people out here dedicated to this stuff, and it's not coming from the Yahoo dude that shoots his compounder, his crossbow, and kills 3 deer a season in his backyard on his grandpa's property and his grandpa's ladder stands. Okay, there's a reality and serious scientific method to this that has been tested and proven, and I want to bring it to your attention because it is an amazing read. If you want the honest to goodness truth in studies about this stuff, it's all right here for you. Okay, look at broadhead broke right here. Okay, they give you the penetration stuff, how they worked, what they did, how sharp they were before and after. It goes on and on. Look at this one right here. Let's see what they studied here in 2022. How many arrows did they actually study here and all this kind of stuff? Well, they show you a picture of it here. Okay, the studies are amazing. The information. Look at all these heads that were tested in here, including the new, got VPA triple blades, iron wills in here, grizzly sticks. You got the new Oz cuts. You got a lot of these. The Strickland Helix. Look at all these arrows. Look at this layout here of what they tested on Cape Buffalo out there, okay, in controlled environments. And they put all this information to test and did all of this stuff, and they captured every little detail. Even Troy Fowler from Ranch Fairy actually even put the serrations in these to test as well, too, on a couple of them, okay? Troy's channel, he's got a lot of information on these things as well, too. But you can see the penetration studies that are done on these. You can see all the information. Let's scroll down real quick and look at some of the heads. Here's a before and after. Ashby's grizzly stick, his signature broadhead, 3-to-1 ratio head before and after the testing. Looks great. Okay, you can go through and see more of these. We'll just skip through here. Here's a Tough Head Evo 300 pre-shot and after. Look, that one of them did have some tip curl in it. And that's probably why in the chart up here, we saw one grizzly stick penetration level. Look at, okay, here we go. Or one Tough Head, look, 100% pass-through, 100% pass-through on a 32 FOC, 100% pass-through, 100%, 26 inches, 25 inches. Okay, probably because of damage is happening like that we're seeing on here. Like I said, the stuff is amazing to read. What else we got on here head-wise? We roll down through here. Here's some of the Alaskans. Okay, you take a look at Alaskans before, after, some edge chatter, little beat up, and these are some very quality heads. And even they're taking, there's there's some abuse that can be taken here when you're dealing with heavy bone, things like this. What about those Evo 300s, 3-blade? Here's what these are the VPAs. Before, after, look at that, fantastic. Held up well. One of them was lost in the field, it said. But they do a fantastic job. And here we go. Look at your standard replaceable blade ones that most people love and many compound shooters shoot. Many compounds swear by this kind of broadhead. They work great. Well, here's how great they actually worked in real world on heavy bone. In a real situation. Not just strapping a shoulder blade to something and trying to shoot into it, but real world. How about these? There you go right here. Held up pretty good. Little beat up, but held up well. Then you're going to wait till we get to the mechanicals. Okay, look at the VPA 300 grain. Perfect. Boom. Done. Solved. Not an issue there whatsoever. And he gives you a synopsis of every single head, every little detail on it, exactly what happened through the entire process, breaking down everything. Again, there has never been a more scientific study of arrows and broadheads on big game ever done before in history. Look at this Rage. How'd the Rage do? Everybody loves the Rage. Rage is the best broadhead ever made. How'd it do? Well, there's the three of them they look like before. There's what three of them look like afterwards. There you go. And let's look at some other ones. I think it's got a couple more mechanicals in here. Here's some here. These VIPs, okay? These actually, they had some problems and still scored a F, but they at least kind of held together. This one's got a broken ferrule. This one's completely gone and annihilated and ripped apart. This one, I can't tell what damage is done on that one, but they at least held up better than Rage did. But, I mean, you can see none of these mechanicals are holding up very well. These ones here, how did they rate them? These guys got a C, so that's not too bad for this one. This Sever pre-shot held up a little bit better on there, but you can see what we're talking about here. These go on and on. What about the Oz pre-shot? Okay, the Oz 3-blade. Well, there's what they look like afterwards. Every one of them broken off ferrules and tips gone and major problems, and they're done. They're done. So here, what about the Helix? Okay, this is a really cool designed head. I like the concept of it. Very similar to kind of like a Simmons Shark as far as their narrow and then wide profile, and held up pretty good. What did they score this at? They oh no wait. Overall, the tip bend considered a structural failure. The head receives an F. Score of an F. So I can't see it on here, but apparently these tips are probably bending about where the bolt is. We're not seeing it on this, but they said that they did bend. But you can, like I said, so much information here. Grizzlies. So many people love the Grizzly broadheads. They're affordable. They're a 3-to-1. They're a wicked head. James shoots a ton of these things. How'd they do? Flawless. If I'm reading correctly, if I'm seeing it, they've got his overall score of a B. Okay, excellent. Okay, so like I said, you can see and read about everything. The Masai rocked it. These Ashby reports are as good as it gets. Tough Head Evo 200, I think that probably got a good score. That scored a B as well too. This reports that are on this organization are outstanding. The detail of them is outstanding. Everything about them is outstanding. And if there's ever a question you have as far as your arrow, its lethality, how good that arrow can do, what that arrow is capable of, it is answered right here for you. Ace Super Express, great head, fantastic head on a lot of things. Didn't do real good out there. But you can see all of this right here. VPA 200 grain, looks like it did good. What did he score it? A C. Okay, but I mean, you can see the endless amounts of information that is on here. The Valkyries, how'd they do? They got a B. They did pretty good as well, too. And it just goes on and on. Iron Will, how did Iron Will do? What did they say for Iron Will? They give Iron Will tip bends. I might have missed it. Did I miss that with Iron Wills? Let's see here. Let me go back up to them. And I'm assuming here, yeah, Iron Will got a C. Okay. But anyway, like I said, most amazing information on arrows you could find, and it is all sitting right here for you, very simply, with hours and hours of things that you can read and understand, and it will blow your mind, and it will change everything that you ever thought you knew about arrows. Highly recommend you check it out. Enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.